you level grinding cats and dolls of YouTube land, you beautiful RPG fanatics and level grinding junkies on the anti-hero drink, your quick fix to your RPG needs. Thank you for tuning in. Smash that like button if you like what I have to say, and if you're not a subscriber, I'd love for you to be a subscriber of this channel. So as always, stay beautiful, you gamers. So let's talk about Deus Ex, Mankind Divided. This game does a lot of things different from the previous Deus Ex Human Revolution, and I actually really love that game. It did a very sleek and stylized cyberpunk game, but actually staying true to its roots of cyberpunk, putting in some amazing gameplay, and having some really cool augments to play with, which actually really dynamically affected how you did combat in that game. From stealth to going loud, it felt good. The only biggest complaint that I had, like most other gamers, was that they wished there was more and they wished it was bigger. So does Deus Ex Mankind Divided deliver on that? Yes and no. So here's my review. Now, I'm not saying that Deus Ex Mankind Divided is a bad game. In fact, it's a really good game, and I feel like in some aspects it did improve on certain things that I wish were more fleshed out in the first game. But as something that I try to go stay near and dear to my heart, gameplay, I don't feel like it's the best representation for the game franchise. And what I mean by that is, when I said Deus Ex Human Revolution really made going loud fun, going stealth fun, this game makes stealth fun, and it feels like that's the only aspect they ever focused on. A lot of the missions, if you played this game, feel like it lends itself to stealth. And you haven't played this game, let me tell you something. Besides the first mission and then maybe a handful of other missions, it doesn't lend itself to going loud. Especially the last mission in the game doesn't lend itself for going loud. You're doing everything you can to do the last mission stealthily. And then the only time you actually get a well-defined boss battle, it also wants you to lend itself to playing the game stealthily. So I never felt at any point there was a time that I should just go loud. Like, seriously go loud. Like, it would be actually fun. Everything from its design to what they put into the level to go make it easier or harder for you seems like it was that they were designing it for a stealth-based player. I can't hammer that hard enough. Like, this game feels so stealthy, because it does. Once you get into it, you will feel the need to play everything stealth, because you'll be playing it loud, you'll get killed, you'll die like 7 times, and you're like, this is no longer fun. You're looking up a walkthrough and they're playing it stealthily. So, this game, if you don't like stealth-based games, this might not be fun. Again, I haven't played it loud, but it doesn't really lend itself to that for most of its level design. And on top of that, from the first game to this game, there doesn't seem to be that many clear levels as it was in Deus Ex Human Revolution. You knew who your enemies were, you went after them. It had enough set pieces where you were going to factories, or there's these levels where you knew you could go kill enemies and you would be fine. This game, on the other hand, opts out for a more narrative-driven story, which isn't bad, and I'm actually kind of praising them on it, because it actually wants you to go be involved in the politics of the game's world. It actually wants you to be involved in the lore of the game's world, and it wants you to be at the forefront of the heated debate going on between augmented people and non-augmented people, the rights of augmented human individuals and the rights of human individuals who fear anybody who has augments, because of the incident that happened in Deus Ex Human Revolution, where everybody with augments just went berserk, ape shit crazy, and started killing people. That scar, that wound is being felt 2 years later in Deus Ex Mankind Divided. There's a huge political debate that's going on about what people who fear augmented people should do, what people who want to fight for augmented rights should do. And you're in the forefront of that debate. So that's really interesting, and that's actually really cool about the game. So there's a lot of, I guess if you like the dialogue conversations in games like Fallout or Skyrim, or if you play Alpha Protocol, I'm not going to say it was as good as Alpha Protocols, but if you like that kind of scenario where you're just going back and forth with people, prying them for their information and how they feel about certain topics, and you're going to go actually like that aspect of Deus Ex Human Revolution. And again, on that note, the game does actually really make you as a player feel the tension building up between augmented people and people who hate augmented people. It really builds up that tension of racial disparity disparity in the game, which is something that I kind of wish they did better with Deus Ex Human Revolution. It kind of just felt like, the riot just broke out. In this game, there's actually tension, there's actually build-up, and you're actually a part of that tension and that build-up leading up to the riots that happen in the game, to the mandatory curfew, things being put under police lockdown, and just you actually get really involved in some of the you can is what I need to go say. You can actually get pretty involved in some of the people's beliefs and debates on augmented rights or not augmented rights, if not this is or is not wrong. So that's really interesting about the game. That's a unique cyberpunk take that I haven't seen many games actually delve into. So that's actually fun. So if you're a fan like me of cyberpunk or anything cyberpunk, those parts are going to be really interesting to you. What's going to suck about that is to actually do that. The game does lend itself more to doing more side missions, you going to locations and fighting enemies. You're going to feel like an errand boy for the first couple of hours of the game because you're running around, doing missions, following leads. I mean, I guess if you like detective work and just you using the side of your brain that just likes analyzing things, putting pieces together, you're going to really love this game at the beginning because it has a lot of that. But then again, you're going around building connections and whatnot and strengthening bonds with other people. So let me go get to my biggest gripe with this game, and that has to be, again, the lack of defined enemies. You do have somebody who has a defined motive that you meet way later into the game, but then I feel like there's not that much known about him. You kind of don't really get to go understand the man behind the plan. You just understand that he's a pawn, that there are bigger fish basically working in the background, and that is an extreme point of the game. That there are bigger players that are working in the background. You're facing the Illuminati in this game. And credit where credit's due, it took balls to actually try to realize this as an actual potential enemy, but then the execution of going after an enemy like this is terrible. Like, the devs ripped themselves in the box as soon as they said the Illuminati was your enemy. You're fighting shadows. You're fighting people in conference rooms who control a massive amounts of power. We're talking about politicians, career politicians, arms dealers, and rulers of, if we're talking about the real life Illuminati, Bilderbergs and all that other crazy shit, people who rule nations and all that crap. But we're just talking about very powerful, influential people who have their hand in almost every aspect of human life. And then they're basically boiled down to these people who are trying to go commit chaos and try to go tip the vote in their own way. I mean, just my feelings, that's just kind of a waste of fucking the tremendous amount of power we place on the Illuminati, but they just don't capture me as an overall boss archetype because you're never really fighting any of them. You're just trying to go thwart their plans. Like you're Professor Gadget, and basically the Illuminati is Dr. Claw, and he's gonna I'm gonna get you, Gadget, next time. That's basically how the Illuminati pretty much play out in this game. So you're just thwarting their plans, and they only really have one big plan in this whole entire game. So I kind of wish there was a lot more of imagination went towards them, or there wasn't so much focus on them because, like I said before, you're talking to a lot of NPCs, and some do mention and talk about the Illuminati. They come up at various junctures in the game. I kind of wish just that time, like they were shown, they're plotting some type of plan, and a lot of time was actually put into the one character that shows up later as an actual boss enemy. I wish you kind of actually got to know him a lot more. I think it's like Viktor Yushchenko or something like that. My Russian is very terrible. But he comes up and he's literally the only thing as an actual boss in the whole entire game. So that's kind of disappointing. And as I've already said, the gameplay lends itself to stealth so much. I just don't want to go hammer on about that because it really does. But like I said, the cool aspects about actually entering in this augmented debate and talking about augmented rights, the stealth in the game, even though I feel like it just should have been a stealth-based game, is done so great. The attention to detail, the levels, finding cracks in the wall, finding vents and whatnot, and just the mind games you're playing or trying to go sneak past somebody, hiding the actual body. It really forces you to go play stealthily, but they put a lot in there so you have some wiggle room with your stealth. Again, I feel like that's still a step back from the first game, which gave you the option of just going loud if you wanted to. But excuse me. But either or, the stealth is actually done quite well, quite fun, and you can go find something to actually like about it. And if you find that way to go do the whole entire game loud, please let me know and tell me how that worked out for you. But anyway, overall, the game has its rewarding moments. I think the attention to detail is a lot more focused in this game. I think there's a lot of world building in this game that the first game didn't have, that they put in here. I feel that there is gameplay in there, but I feel like it's very restrained to stealth, and it's either stealth or you're just talking or hanging out with NPCs and doing things in the wide open, which doesn't allow itself to going loud. But there is gameplay there, and it's actually fun and refreshing after a while. So overall, I would definitely recommend this game if you're a fan of the Deus Ex series, if you're a fan of the cyberpunk genre, or if you just want to have an RPG that's pretty cool to play. This one's great. It's not lengthy at all. I feel like the levels themselves from the first game are bigger, but not lengthier. The game may have a couple of hours, maybe, just from my personal feeling. I have no time on this, but this game feels like it has like maybe 1 or 2 more hours on the other game. So if you were definitely burnt by how short the game was, I definitely recommend that you just wait for the price drop on this game, and it'll still be just as fun with probably some damn DLC out. So that's my thoughts. That's my opinions. Thank you for looking. Thank you for listening so long. Thank you for tuning in. Smash that like button, hit that subscribe button, and keep grinding. Later, gamers.